I'm sure Marianne's going to give us a very, very entertaining talk about how to create products that people crave without putting drugs in them, presumably. So I'll hand it over to Marianna.
Hi everyone. I just want to cater for the people that are outside because they can't hear. So if you're comfortable coming in your hunkers, it's literally only a 10-minute talk. There's loads of space up here at the front. So if you just want to come up in here, there's an extra chair as well. So come on up and in because you can't actually hear when you're out there. So if you just want to come up and inside, you're welcome up here to the little realm of Mar. Okay, so can everybody hear me on the stairs and on the different areas, yeah? Okay, cool. So today I'm talking to you about how to design products that people crave, and last night I went to an extremely inspirational talk where the top athletes of Ireland were there, and I think that being people focused is really important. So what I'd like you to do first is to turn to your left and introduce yourself to the person beside you. Just say a quick hello, exchange business cards. Okay, so now that we all know each other, that's great. Feel free to come up and chat to me at the end. I literally do the shortest presentations ever when it comes to this sort of thing, where it's all theoretical. I'm much more of a people person, so I have loads of business cards and you can follow me or stalk me on Facebook or whatever it is. So today I'll just go through the actual problem that we face as I'm a product designer. I suppose I better introduce myself. I'm a product designer. I studied at DIT, got first class honours, went in, designed a load of products for a company called Futura Design. I've designed over 50 products to date. I started my own consultancy. Now it's turned into kind of an incubation for my own product ideas called Design Burst, and I blog regular on mariannakane.com. So I'm a very busy person, and more importantly, I also teach hundreds of students in Maynooth University how to make models and how to sketch and how to be innovative and creative and all that sort of stuff. So today I'm going to talk about the problem, the big old dream that we all have of having great products in people's hands, and what my solution to it is, what I do to try make products for people, and then I give you a few tips and tricks, and then just time for questions, hopefully. So the big problem is that we all design things, we all create things, we all work for people who are innovators and all that sort of thing, and ultimately all of if you're developing products, they end up being a big massive waste pile even if they're recycled, they ultimately end up waste on the consumer's point of view. A lot of times as well, with people that are developing code and apps and all that sort of thing, they end up in a USB graveyard. So we've all been there, we've all created great things, amazing things, and they stay in this hidden little portfolio of nothingness. So how do we stop that from happening? Well, we try to get it into the hands of the people that are going to cherish it and are going to champion it to the rest of the world, and they're going to sell it to us, sell it for us, and then they're going to reinvent it and revive it. So this is our big dream. That's why you're here today. You're here to learn how to create products that people crave. They're just like, oh God, give me more. So it's all about being human-centric, okay? So we're all humans. Even if you design a product for a dog like me, then you create it for the humans that are going to interact with that product, the people that are going to buy that product, the people that are going to use that product, the people that are on the fence as to whether they'll throw out that product because maybe someone could use it someday for something. Okay, so so this is my method to firstly encourage creative thinking, empathize with your workforce, which is very important to me, excite producers, educate your suppliers, empower your audience, okay? And one thing that people kind of forget about is enticing us creatives, entice the innovators and the creators, okay? So I'm just going to go through these in detail. So how do you do this? So just so that you know, in case I'm speaking really fast and getting through this presentation really fast, I'll actually have all of these slides, all of this detail up on my blog. So you'll see it all there, so don't be afraid. So Encourage creative thinking. So you've heard a lot of creative talks today about creative thinking, I'm assuming. And this is the D-School model for creative exploration, where you empathise with the audience, you define a problem, you come up with new ideas to solve that problem, you prototype the idea, be it physical or software or whatever it is, and then you test it. And then you empathise with the users that are testing it. You define what problems they're having, you solve them, so you keep evolving your ideas. Okay, so a product designer, an innovator, a creator never ever stops creating that product. Okay, all the way through its product life cycle, you should be constantly encouraging design thinking. It really helps to keep the product alive in the market. Empathise with your workforce. Think about it. These are the people that are going to bring your project to life. And if they're depressed off their brains, or if they're frustrated or agitated, all of that's going to be reflected. Us creatives are very emotional beings, very emotional. We also drink way too much coffee, so that makes us kind of like this when we're standing up and presenting. But if you empathise with your workforce, you actually get a lot more insight into your product. So for any of the higher up people in the room today, just make sure that you empathise. So I actually have designers who work for me and work with me, and all of the time I'm collaborating with them. I'm not dictating what they should and shouldn't do, because when you collaborate, you get unbelievable stuff back. So just make sure to empathise with your workforce. Excite your producers, okay? So this is something that I really try to do. So I don't go out, I'm developing a new dog lead, and I don't go out just to companies that make dog leads. I go out to people who make random things out of fabric and who really want to innovate and stretch their imagination. I go to creative enterprises. Why? Because they're going to bring a real big spark to my project. They're not going to turn around to me and say, no, that can't be stitched that way, no, it's not possible. They're really pushing their limits. They invent a machine that will make sure that that can be stitched. And that gives them a security then. So your producer then has a security to know that they're the only ones. They've worked with you to develop this thing that makes only your product. So you've exclusivity, they've exclusivity, so it feels great for them. So innovate with your producers and excite them, get them bought into your product, because they'll help sell it ultimately as well. Educate your suppliers, educate your distributors. Timing is everything, and this is something I've really seen, like with clients coming to me with new ideas for products and different things, and even with students that I teach in the university, like timing is really important. So technically, like I'm their like supplier of materials in the university, and they come to me last minute and there's nothing I can do. Whereas if they come to me and they explain their project and everything, I'm already thinking of stuff that they might need. So even though they haven't asked me for it, I'm ordering it in. And I know so many suppliers of materials in Ireland that are like that. They'll order in big batches of stuff based on someone coming in and brainstorming through an idea for a new point of sale unit or whatever it is that they're doing. So it's really important to get your timing right. And for your suppliers and your distributors to know what your timing is like. This one's really important. There's so many channels now, like Twitter, Facebook, blogging, LinkedIn, Pinterest, loads of things that you can do to empower your audience. People go on YouTube and they pick up new products all the time, and they do these videos where they test them to the max, like, you know, so they'll get a brand new Samsung and a brand new iPhone and they'll throw them off a building and see which one cracks. And people generally want to watch that. You want to see the products fail, like, you know, so there's loads of ways of promoting and enticing people to touch your product, to feel it, to understand it, to judge it. That's the best thing. Have people give a crap about your product. It's brilliant, because what happens is it entices them to help you to design something for them and their needs, so the next iteration comes out and all of a sudden it's wireless and it's hands-free or whatever it is, like. So it's really important to encourage people to feel empowered by your solutions. So this is all the way through. So when you're coming up with new ideas, make sure it's going to empower the user, not make them feel like, not just solve a problem. That's not what you're doing when you're creating new products. Creatives to to think of how to. So the product life cycle goes something along these lines. So it starts here and it goes, oh, I have a great idea for a product, and then it kind of starts to gain traction, and then you produce it, and then you start selling it, and it's like, oh my god, it's the best product in the world, and then it'll end up going to landfill, and then there's no more use for that product. It's become stagnant, like the old mobile phones, and now everyone has smartphones, and they end up in the tip. What you should do is, when it gets to this level, start enticing people to interact with your product in a different way. Like, so upcycle it, crush it, reinvent it, whatever way you have to do. So, for example, like a good example is, well, this is upcycling at its most simple form, but there's a whole IKEA initiative where they allow people to hack their ideas. Now, they've nothing to do with it. They don't have to manage this whole website, and they don't have to manage all the practices, procedures, the annoying comments and all that sort of stuff. Just people wanted to hack IKEA furniture. So there's the Lackathon and all this sort of thing where you get a lack table, which is like €5 sometimes in January sales, and you can make cool things out of it. And people have made remarkable things out of just simple IKEA furniture. So you encourage people, encourage creatives to play with your product after it's at the end of its life cycle anyway. So why not keep it from going into, you don't want it in that trash pile. So this is a continuous cycle, so you keep going round and round and round in circles and keep it going through the life cycle of your product. So what I'd like you to do, if you want to take a screen grab of this, or I'll post it up to Twitter in a few minutes, is to jot down where in that cycle you're worried about. So if there's particular areas that you're freaking out about, then just write it down, be it to encourage or empathise or empowering, if you don't know anything about social media. And then, think about what you'd like to actually achieve this year. So set down your goal, jot it down on a piece of paper, do up a vision board visually, look at cutouts from magazines, and then go around. You're in an ideal location today. Go around and network with people. Just talk to people about your anxieties, your weaknesses, where you need help with your new ideas, where you need help with your career, where you need help with your business to engage with people more. And then maintain continuous contact with these people. So that's it. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. Thanks.
Thanks very much.